Espa, like a little back slums. Funny enough, this exact location in Espa, I had concepted players starting here on Restoration 1. It was like, because it's a whole bunch of the, slum buildings, and it was a random 3 different starting areas for new players. You would start like as a rich person on Naboo, or you would start as like some middle class on like Talus or something, and then the low class started here in the slums of Espa, right in front of this particular house, and it was going to have like unique introductory quests per whichever random spot you got selected.
That's cool. All right, stream is up. You're adding classism to the SWG character creation. That's funny.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Naboo.
All right, I'm gonna go post this link on Reddit. And I will post it in a few Discords because I know people are interested. Do. Reddit's a pretty good. I'm. Thank God the Vars doesn't like censor people from like promoting Legends and live code stuff.
Lavaris does have like a fucking thing against me for whatever fucking reason, though.
True. I haven't gone on his bad side or anything, but I'm just glad he doesn't censor my posts.
Yeah, he's another. Everybody in SWG, there's so many weirdos.
I can't disagree with you. I agree. There are a lot of weirdos. What's up,
Yes.
guy? We got one person already viewing. Or 3 viewers apparently. Posted the stream. Let's see. I should probably post the stream in the Restoration Discord.
Yeah.
Oh, Jar Jar Binks already did it. He should tag everybody. I'm actually just gonna at everyone. Send a little ping to everybody because I know a lot of people are interested. I'm slightly low. Let me turn myself up then. I cannot turn myself up from there. Let's try this. Nope. That's it. That's affecting my actual volume. Hello? Okay, there we go. Is that better? Am I louder?
You sound good to me on Discord.
All right. That's what's important. It's part of what's in. You're kind of quiet, gospel. Am I louder now? Is it better? In the chat. Do. I don't know how. Let's see if I can mess with audio settings. Do. I see that I am a little low. Much better? Okay, much better. Okay, good. All right. Just making sure. Okay, that's good. That's the ticket. Okay, everyone's happy with my sound settings. That's good. Okay. We're going to wait about 10 minutes. We're going to wait 10 minutes for people to get in here. And then we'll start the interview. And I'll obviously be taking questions from chat, as well as I've got my own set of questions I've come up with. And then we'll probably discuss ideas and topics and stuff that'll trigger more questions in my head. So we'll definitely be asking a lot of questions Boop-a-doop-boop, boop-a-doop-boop. Do-do-do.
Let's do a quest.
All right.
Let's do the Stormlord Mustafarian Injector.
All right.
Super basic. It's Jedi Enclave underscore. I'm not sure if it's 1, 2, or 3. I'm gonna find out.
It's on Mustafar, right?
Yeah, one of the warps. Jedi Enclave.
Did I go too far? Let's see. Mustafar. Jedi Enclave 1. Enclave 1, 2, 3. I see.
I think it's number 3.
Okay, I got this cutscene I can't skip.
Yeah, that was it. I've always wanted a Basilisk War Droid. Is that thing in the frog?
Oh, I spawned right on top of some commandos. This Magna Guard stuff has excellent effects. It's actually pretty sick.
The sound effects on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in here that honestly I've never even seen myself.
Are you Lonnie? Who's Lonnie? I think that's actually no. That's Sirach. I think. Which Jedi Enclave am I porting to?
And then I'm assuming you remember where that quest is. Everybody's done it 100 times.
Which Jedi Enclave am I porting to? I forget.
3.
3? Okay, I was at
Yeah.
1. I was at 2, I think. There we go. Let me warp over there. Warps.
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab something.
Wait, you said 1 or 3? Oh, okay, never mind. I don't even see him. Well, there's a Stormlord. Scar? Wait. X Scar. Ooh. Oh, it's like a Night Sister looking model. Maybe it was 1. Did he say 1 or 3? I forget. I wasn't paying attention. My short-term memory is gone. XD. What's up, Nathan Reynolds, dude? I know this guy. Oh. This is not what I was expecting. Maybe I'll go back to 3. I think we're going back to 3. Oh, went too far. Where is it? Boom, 3. XD. I like to play music, but YouTube's kind of Well, YouTube ain't that picky. It's Twitch that's like really picky about music. But I can play some music, right? Let me open up Spotify. I'm just gonna have this loop for a little while. Cause yeah. He said 3? Okay. I'm at 3. Let me keep promoting this stream real quick. Just to get people on board here.
All right.
Welcome back.
Got my other screen on now so I can read the chat as well.
Yeah, that's good. That's how I've got it set up. Where are you at? I'm at Jedi Enclave 3.
I'm at the Quest Giver, just north of that enclave.
Okay, let me get my... Oh, I need to spawn a vehicle for this character. I haven't done that yet.
I spawned the Jango Fett jetpack. So cool.
Does it go over lava?
Yeah. There's no lava if you're at number 3.
Oh, it's already on my toolbar. Okay, cool.
Love the client. It's so much crisper than the pre-CU client.
It is. It's graphically better.
Oh yeah. The only thing I never liked was some of the changes they did to the character models in the face look kind of odd. Like the way they have shadowing, I guess, if you like use the age option, which I've started using because I'm now old.
You're as old as I am. There's no need to use it.
But and it's like I was a teenager when I was playing this game, so I felt like I should bump the age notch up 1 or 2.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel you. I've enabled that. Made a few old men characters.
Yeah.
Lonnie's here as well. Alright, Sickness of the Stormlord. Get our Mustafarian injector.
Which I don't really know what to do with some of the like stats on Mustafar stuff. Like this thing still has the NGE buff effect. But actually, you know what? I just remembered we have access to all the combat upgrades original effects for all the Mustafar buffs. So we'll probably just go and set them back to what they were for the CU.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do you got the data for the lava cannon?
So the weapons and stuff, no. They have a bunch of different database files, and the buffs database is still intact. But weapons, most of their data was stored on the server, and when they did the NGE, they just rewrote all that with NGE stats.
I gotcha.
Whereas the buffs was compiled for the client distribution as well, so we can just open up the older client with like Sitners and look at what the values were.
I gotcha. By the way, Spin Attack doesn't seem to be doing an AoE.
Okay.
Just a heads up. Just figured that out just now.
I think that we discovered a couple area attacks not working when we did Carboneer, and we fixed them for Carboneer, and the same thing probably needs to be done now to other professions.
Right. All right. Well, it is 1:11. So while we quest, I'm gonna ask some questions. I'm gonna turn down the master volume a little bit, so it's not overbearing. I'm gonna turn down the music as well. There we go. And then I've got my document up here. Whoops. Can't give everything away. All right. So the first question is, why did you decide to emulate the CU, like the combat upgrade?
That's when I started playing SWG, was like just after the CU's release, and as a result, it was my favorite version.
Okay, so you're it's sort of like nostalgic a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play the original pre-CU, but I think it's pretty safe to say that anybody here has played pre-CU because Core 3 is like an excellent emulation of it. So I've been playing pre-CU since Core 1 came out, but when they did the core overhaul, I did a lot of stuff on their older uh, um servers. I can't think of their names, and always liked the game, but it was never this. This was always my favorite version. I like the warm ups. I like the slower combat pacing, and I like that you don't just spam the same animation over and over like you do pre-CU.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's not just animation spam as well. It's a lot of it's like, there's actual rotations. You have to actually think about what buttons you're pressing. Whereas
Right?
like
Yeah.
pre-CU, you just mash the same. You just mash your most powerful attack. Or if you
Right.
want to like kill their mind, you just do that over and over and over again, and that
Right. It's
kind of brain dead gameplay.
Yeah, pre-CU. There's like so many macros, and it just I don't feel like you have to think very hard. You just have to be more or less quick about what button you're spamming. This one you've got more states like that, like brute, snare, um, other abilities that give kind of variety to the play style, and those really make or break the game for me. Not too much different from the NGE, but I just can't stand the combat pacing of the NGE.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. The combat pacing in the NG, it's not like a terrible game necessarily, but it is very like the time to kill is so fast, and I feel like I don't know, like they every weekend they seem to have like 40v40 PvP, and I'm a PvPer, so it's like it's so fast and it just focuses all on AoE, and I don't know, it just feels really bad to me.
Yeah, I was in a large PvP guild on the NGE, and it really boils down to just like dire snare and dragging around and rezzing people. Uh,
Yeah.
I think that this version at like Restus, since we have Restus, is going to be really cool. We're going to slow things down a bit and give people a chance to think about what they're doing, like per ability and whatnot. And the results should be really interesting.
Yeah, I agree completely. Um, I guess my next question was, what is your favorite part of the CU?
Um,
Might have been encompassing there in that last question when we discussed it.
Little bit, but I think what got me so sucked into Star Wars was not necessarily Star Wars, but Star Wars Galaxies was the um, whole Jedi thing. I really liked Jedi. I did the village and uh, thought that was just the coolest thing I'd seen in any MMO before. And I played a couple, but Galaxies was the biggest for me. I had played EQ and planet side before this. So you come to this game and you've got this whole like mystic class that you can unlock that's under this huge time gate and all that stuff. Like the first time experience doing that was just amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree. I unlocked in the CU myself, and it was so much fun. I think it kind of lost its mystery after a while, because I mean, you just look at the PvP videos, or the most of the CU videos available on YouTube, and it's like Jedi after Jedi after Jedi after Jedi. So everyone kind of treated Jedi like a regular class a little bit. I mean, it's just something you had to unlock, but
Right. That was the most unfortunate part of the CU was how it ended up becoming Jedi Wars instead of Star Wars.
yeah, exactly. That's one thing I actually, when I played on Basilisk since 2013. That's one thing I actually kind of liked about it. If you look at some of those old PvP videos from Basilisk, it's like a bunch of riflemen. They're all going prone. There's there's lasers everywhere. It looks like a Battle of Geonosis. Like it looks like Star Wars. You know what I mean? And I like that part, and I'm hoping that can be recreated in the CU, and I think it will be. But I'm getting wrecked.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's some older videos I used to watch that had like the guild RDE, I think it was, that
Yeah.
had some pre-Pub 9 era Star Wars, and there was so many riflemen and all these different like laser beams going off, and it just really looked like an actual Star Wars battle instead of a bunch of glow sticks all over the place.
Yeah.
And we definitely aim to recreate something similar on Restoration 1 and 2. We've always had these complex Jedi setups that kind of limited Jedi's playability. Not playability. We limited the interaction. That's what it is. We had less Jedi showing themselves so they wouldn't become visible, and then we added the life system that pretty much time gates Jedi behind how many times they die. So if like you died, like I don't know, I think it was 3 times, then all of a sudden your character would go blue glowy. At least it had the buff. We didn't actually have the particle, but now we can actually use the particle effect, make you go blue glowy, and then you'd wait like a day or 2 until the buff went away, and then you could actually use the character again. So I think that the plans are to use something similar this time around with R3 to do the same thing, so that we don't have Jedi just like constantly logging in and spamming the server with like lightsabers everywhere. Like if you're going to play your Jedi character, you might think twice about using it in this situation or another.
Yeah, I think that's good. Like a way to limit Jedi, I think is like a good idea. I think it's because again, like we were saying, Jedi Wars, it makes like if Jedi is an alpha class, I'm not sure how you're gonna do the balancing. But if Jedi is an alpha class, then there's no reason not to play it. And so especially if you include FRS, I mean, I think after playing pre-CU for so long, we've come to min-max the game and realize that Jedi, even with FRS, is not that much of an alpha class, especially when you have like 10 character slots and you can min-max like half your characters. Jedi became extremely weak.
Right.
So it'd be cool to have a Jedi Alpha class, but have like a penalty or a cooldown if you die or if you're reckless or whatever. I think that's really awesome. I guess the next question I have is, how long till open beta? A lot of people have been asking me that, and I'm just like, well, there was plans for the end of July, but obviously things did not go as planned. It was, people get busy. Turns out there's more work than normal. So how long are you, like, is there a rough estimate, I guess, on open beta?
We're looking at open beta in about 2 to 3 weeks. Here, in the middle of this week, we're gonna start setting the dedicated server up. We're gonna bring R2 down for a couple days to move it to its new server. Put R3's environment on the Dedi and get it running for us in our alpha testers group. We'll go ahead and make sure everything's working properly once more on the new server. Once all that stuff checks out, we've got a handful of little things in the client we're trying to knock out, and then we're pretty much good to go. I mean, I don't really know what else we have that's game breaking. We've pretty much narrowed all that stuff down here in the alpha test. We just got to fix some polishing.
Yeah, it does seem to be that way. So that's cool. That's good.
Yeah, I know. I really would like to have it done in 2 weeks, but I say 3 weeks just because there's always a margin of error.
Right, right. Well, that's good. People are definitely looking forward to it. I think there's going to be a lot of players pulled from both the pre-CU servers that exist and also the NGE server. I know that I'm not the only one who preferred CU over literally any other system they put in. So that'll be good.
Right.
Next question was, what features will be complete for open beta?
The tape system, that's going to be ready. I know that not everybody will like it, but we do. We're going to use the NGE's tape crafting system instead of the looting tapes with random stats on it. I think that the NGE did a lot of things right. They did an excellent job with like Beastmaster, the tape crafting system, the junk system. The junk system is so deeply nested into the game, to try to rip it out would be a giant task in itself. And it doesn't make any sense when it's a really good system. It gives crafters a whole bunch of stuff to do. It gives like your low-level players stuff to farm. It gives your high-level players stuff to farm, because you got some of these junk pieces dropping inside of your heroics. So there's a big variety, and it's going to be interesting to see it in the combat upgrade, because we've got all these stats that were not really like available, I guess, during the CU, because they didn't have a lot of tapes dropping. And half the stuff that they did have implemented was bugged in itself. And I don't code to replicate bugs. I dislike that. So I fixed bugs that they should have fixed. Like all the states didn't do anything. I fixed all that.
Yeah, I saw that. Thank you for the donation, Nath. Dediscallion has no chin. Can confirm. Seen real life pictures of him. I guess this kind of goes along with the question that I just asked. You asked some of it already. Answered some of it already. But what are some of the known differences between Vanilla CU and Restoration 3? I guess at least for the open beta, and then maybe I guess we can talk about launch as well.
The known differences will be the Jedi unlock is different. We won't have the Jedi unlock in the open beta, but we will have it on the live. So pretty much anybody coming to beta, you're not going to be able to unlock Jedi, although we are going to be giving Jedi unlocks away to get Jedi progression, like grinding and whatnot, tested. But the unlock will be available after launch. The tape system, like I just talked about, we'll have all the junk loot in, and we'll have RE and all that stuff working. Trying to think. During beta is when we will bring in the Beastmaster stuff. We're gonna take Creature Handler and start kind of snipping it together with Beastmaster. The pet crafting system's just too cool to get rid of, so we'll have that.
Can we keep this effect where Doctor buffs apply to the whole group at the same time?
That's pretty Pretty cool. I didn't even know that was like a thing, but I don't see why not.
They implemented that in the NGE.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I've been grouped in buffing, and I just realized it's buffing everyone in the group, which is amazing. Okay, that's cool. That's good news.
We'll have Kashyyyk and Mustafar stuff available for the beta test too, but all the heroics are going to be unavailable because all the loot needs to be revamped.
Right. What are some of the what are the features you hope to implement in open beta for launch? Because I know you were talking about some new features. And so I was wondering what new features can we expect in the open beta? Like you were just talking about the NGE bioengineering. Is there more to that, or?
Well, I mean, we'll have the enzymes and the DNA harvesting and all that stuff for the bioengineer, and the mutations. It's a big thing that I like. We have, I don't know. New is kind of like new as in completely new to the game, or new to the combat upgrade.
New to the combat upgrade.
Okay, well, new to the combat upgrade is going to be your weapon crafting. We pretty much revamped the whole core system that they had in the NGE, which you could craft a weapon core and then put it in any weapon appearance you wanted. We do still have hints of the way the combat upgrade had skill requirements on certain abilities. So, I think the proton rifle was linked up to being a master commando. So you can craft a weapon core and set it up to like a level 54 weapon. You can experiment on speed. You can experiment on sack cost. You can experiment on damage, and put it into the appearance and use it if you have Master Commando, or you can just put it in like a T21 and use it by anyone. But I never liked pre-CU, CU. Like, oh, you only have a handful of weapons that are viable. CU had more because some of the looted weapons were pretty good, but not quite up there. Like for me, I played a lot of Bounty Hunter. The Fallen Hyper Rifle, that was like the best thing, or the Transocean Hunter's Rifle. I'm sorry, the crafted version of that. That was like the best rifle. I don't like the best type stuff. I like to keep it so that you can craft the best and put it into whatever appearance you want. So that'll be new.
I think most players would agree with that, because players like customization. They like skins. They like to make their character look unique and different. So I think that's a really great idea. With the weapon core idea, do you know if you're going to implement things like, for example, enhancements to the crafts, like crate tissues, accolade bones, spider venom, etc.?
Absolutely.
Okay, sweet. So there will be like this kind of RNG like component to it, where like you can get like a better weapon than usual, and then obviously this game will have decay. There's no anti-decay kits, right?
Right. So I had a cool idea for anti-decay kits that we'll probably run with, which instead of making it stop decay, we'll have it lower decay so that those items last longer. I haven't actually set any of that up yet, but I thought about it the other day and thought that might be a good idea as opposed to just deleting something from the game.
Right.
But yeah, we will have decay. The weapons, like you said, we can loot enhancements for them. They'll go right into the core. So when you're crafting a core, you'll have like a slot for like a crate tissue. And then yes, it is RNG, but also no. Like the RNG will be the loot part of it,
right?
But I like pre-CU, like the way they did it was, this mob had like level 300 hidden behind it, and if you looted something off it, it rolled the dice, and it could just set some like insane stats if it rolled like a legendary. We're gonna have it so that you can loot like a legendary component, but the legendary component will have kind of a fixed stat range instead of like the random multiplication that they ran pre-CU.
That's good. I really like that system. I think a lot of players like that kind of stuff. It gives them reason to go kill crates besides just farming for Jedi sabers and The fact that they need to get good components, you know, it boosts the economy. It gives players a way to make money besides doing missions. All that stuff is good. I'm gonna take a couple questions from chat because I see they're asking questions. Skyer is asking, will open beta have frogs, and will open beta have focused testing?
No frogs, but we will try to get like some focus groups together for certain content, because we have Kashyyyk and Mustafar. Those are going to be like our primary sources of content for when the game first comes out. A lot of people did not get to do Kashyyyk Mustafar during the actual combat upgrade because it was out for about 3 weeks before they did the NGE.
Right.
So we're going to give people the opportunity to do that again, but during testing, we're going to need to make sure that it's all well balanced, because these mobs kind of dance around from like an NGE skill set and CU stats mixed in with some of our own stats that we've added to the mobs, like customizing their skill sets and whatnot. So we're just going to get some focus groups together to make sure that everything is playable and balanced and not too hard, not too easy type deal.
Right. That's good. Let's see. I thought I saw another question.
And actually, we're testing that right now, because if we get to the Stormlord, I'm really curious to see how hard he's going to be.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm interested to see how HK is and all that other stuff. I remember people struggling to beat HK during the CU for the 2 weeks it was out.
Yeah,
I remember hearing it was really hard, and then there's like one video of a group clearing it, and like 7 out of 8 of them are Jedi. So
yeah. My guild was one of the guilds that was doing it before it came out, and we could get to HK, but we could never beat HK.
One of my friends is asking, Nathan Reynolds is asking, was reverse engineering in CU or NGE? And I believe the answer is, I think I can answer this one, is that reverse engineering existed for shipwright, but the bringing it in for every crafter for like weapons and stuff only existed in the NGE, but they're bringing it into CU. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, cool. Zach S, that's Poltor. What's up, dude? Toxic says, do the NPC not hit for all 3 pools? Only see health and action affected currently. Yeah, so in the CU, you can only hit health, and health and action can be debuffed to where their regen is not as fast, and they can be buffed to where their regen is faster. So that's the way the CU worked. You could only incap to health, and you would only suffer to health. Sonic Cashew Weiss, is Incon banned? No, he's not banned from this server. Do you have a rough estimate on how long open beta will last?
I don't want it to exceed 6 months. I can tell you that much. But I think the most of open beta will, or what's going to determine how long we'll be in open beta will determine how many people get on and test. I know that a lot of people don't want to test on a server that's temporary. It will be wiped. Open beta is not going to carry over to live. But we will run some like higher experience rates and whatnot during open beta, so that it's not such a grind, I guess. I mean, I don't think it's really a grind anyways. Anybody who played the CU knows that spin groups went really fast, and anybody who hasn't done a spin group will get the experience, and it's really fun, and you can like grind up a profession in like 2 days. But once we get, a handful of people on and testing, we'll see just how many bugs there are. We're going to be looking for exploits, exploit prevention. We want the server to, run for the next 10, 20 years as far as I'm concerned. I don't plan to ever bring the server down. So stability will be key. And also kind of watching our server resources. If we need to upgrade the server because we're going to have a large influx of players, we're going to want to take care of that during open beta. But I don't think it's going to take more than 6 months. The biggest development during open beta will be Jedi. We got to do the Jedi unlock, which we already have concepted. We're gonna have to do the Beastmaster stuff, which that's really easy because it's already done. We just have to merge it and then balance the crafted pets. And then I think right now we're talking about releasing the server live without the heroics and everything, because I think there's plenty of content on Kashyyyk and Mustafar for people to do while we go through the heroics, and then we can just release the heroics one at a time, kind of like SOE did. In the middle of all that, during beta, we'll have to test Rustus, and then we'll release the server without Rustus enabled. Then we'll do the progressive Rustus event. I know a lot of people didn't get to do that just because it was a whole one-time thing. So that'll be really interesting to see the Mustafar, or I'm sorry, not Mustafar, the Rustus event in live action again. I mean, I did it, back in 2009, so it's been 11 years. So I'm excited to do it myself.
Yeah, I remember doing the Restus event and getting a whole 1 frame per second. It was amazing.
Yeah, and that's kind of one thing that's also really cool about this project is a lot of people, NGE, so laggy, lag. We're going to go through, and we already have gone through a lot of stuff and optimized some bits and pieces in the client. The client has a lot of redundancies that just kind of bog it down. We're getting rid of some of those things, taking the... no, here, not there.
Yeah, that's a Stormlord. Yeah, we want to
doing profit.
Yeah.
Also another thing that'll help speed things up, or speed the client performance up is our combat is going to go from an average of 1/4 of a second per ability to an average of 1.5 seconds per ability. So it's a lot less stuff being processed on your screen at one time. So it should speed things up a lot. I think that was one of the biggest flaws of the NGE.
Yeah. There's a couple more questions in chat. If we test in the beta, could we get a beta tester badge or title when live hits?
I'm sure that we'll do something, but we haven't really talked about it. It's just been kind of a low priority, figuring out how things will translate to the live server. I don't know. I'm sure we'll figure something out. A badge is probably a pretty cool idea, but no promises on anything. I mean, we just, if you're coming onto the beta, you should be coming onto the beta to help make sure that the server's ready for the live server,
Right. Will space Polter was asking, village unlock? No, it's going to be mysterious. So
yes, completely custom Jedi unlock, no village. Well, I liked, and I'm one of the few. I liked the village. I liked the quest. So I had mentioned to Jar Jar about making the village in game and let you do the quest and whatnot, but not tie it to the unlock. So pretty much you could visit the village, do those quests if you wanted to, because I mean it's more content and they had rewards, like the back to tank and whatnot. Like I don't even have a problem with phase 3 being the place to still continue to get the Sunriders, but that's none of that's set in stone yet, because Jar Jar was a little against having the village still in the game.
Corey Ingram is asking, will space be on this server, and if so, will it be pre-NGE? I hope, is what he's asking.
Space will be in. What do you mean pre-NGE?
He says, but is it JTL or is it whatever the NGE bat turned into? I'm not sure what that means. Keylorn is asking, will this server be LGBTQ friendly? Yes, Keylorn, you're welcome to play here.
Yeah, anybody can come. We don't.
Yeah, I know that's super important to Keylorn, so. The JTL, as far as I know, I mean, they added features and ships and stuff in the NGE, didn't they? For the
Yeah,
JTL.
they added some ships, and I think I did JTL for a while, um, but I didn't do it pre-CU because I didn't play pre-CU, um, and I didn't do it in the combat upgrade myself. The ground combat was more than enough for me, um,
Right.
but okay, well here, as Lonnie said, picking up the skill boxes. Uh, that might be what he's talking about. That's a good question. We are going to just keep the profession wheel for the skill boxes on the space stuff because we really don't see any reason to change it. Like the skill box wheel for politician and space works, and if it works and
If it
it's
ain't
not
broke,
broken,
don't fix it. Right?
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
I think that's fine. I'm not a huge into JTL, but I mean, as long as the profession works the same, it's like I don't think it's gonna impact people too much.
yeah, and I don't think they really messed with any combat stuff or whatnot. I think they just added content. But if there's something that is brought to my attention, like, hey, check this out, NGE, they did this, and it was different than the combat upgrades space, and I'll gladly look at it and adjust if needed.
Yeah. Dirt is asking, will aspects from previous Resto servers be included, lightsaber Tef, for example?
Yeah, we're going to have aspects of Resto's older iterations, but I don't know exactly what we're going to... what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know exactly what we're going to make public yet. So I don't have a definitive list, but we will see some of that stuff.
That's cool. Group hunting. Will there be group hunting with bounty hunters? Like, will I be able to be a bounty hunter and then like take my, I don't know, like rifleman friends who don't have bounty hunter and like gank a Jedi, or even its target? Will BH Tough exist or no?
I think that their code base is currently set up that you can have multiple bounty hunters, but I don't think we have any code base for your group being able to do the mission with you.
To be fair, I'm totally against that.
Yeah, I don't really like it because we've got these novice, Jedi who are going to be in the game and they want to play too, and I like a little bit of some brainstorming offhand. I don't think we're going to have the life system tied into the Padawans. If you want to play a Padawan, we don't want to gate anybody from playing the game that wants to play the way they want. Like that's what the NGE was about. You couldn't do what you wanted exactly as you wanted. I remember during the actual combat upgrade, I ran into somebody who was like a master creature handler, master lightsaber, because that's what they wanted. It was not an efficient class, but that's what they wanted. So we want to keep that. And I think by having like the permadeath system applied to like a Padawan, that kind of gates some people from playing Jedi. We don't want to do that. So, we'll have the more hardcore aspects tied into the PvP part of the game.
That'll be good. I like that.
Yeah. Right.
So if someone wants to just stay a Padawan, they don't necessarily grow in power because they're not an FRS, but here we go. We got the Mustafarian injector.
And as a result, it's kind of, we don't really want the groups being able to gank on those guys. Like, you'll have your experience loss if you go and get visibility. And just like it was in the combat upgrade. But the combat upgrades Jedi was very available to all, So I want to keep Padawans very much like it was during the actual combat upgrade. It wasn't even really an alpha class back then, it was kind of like halfway to alpha because there was no FRS.
Yeah, the developers said that they wanted to have Jedi 50% stronger, is what I remember. It's like 1.5 times the normal player. I think that's like the famous quote, right? And I think they kind of achieved that during the CU, but the other thing in the CU is one of the things I've learned about Basilisk and the way it's changed my perception of pre-CU is that people couldn't just min max on live, right? Like they had one character slot per account unless they unlocked a Jedi, then they unlocked a second character. And like if you were like my dad played live. He unlocked his Jedi and then he made an armor smith, and then he played Jedi. So Jedi and armor smiths, combat, crafting. If you were me, I unlocked Jedi and then I made a bounty hunter. But you didn't necessarily get to min max, right? So there were people out there who were doing like Master Armor Smith, Master TK, and then they were like doing combat. They were like running Janna missions so that they could get hide and then crafting up the armor themselves and making money that way, which is a good way to make money, undoubtedly. But it definitely frog tool flag for all instances. I don't know what you're trying to say to me.
It's in the frog, so we could do an instance, but I don't know that the three of us can do an instance.
Yeah, might be
Hey,
hard.
like I know what we can do just for giggles. We can go up to share car after we do that.
Yeah, we can do that. I'm down. And just die to Shirkar for a little bit.
I don't know that this thing worked like he said it did, though. I sound like a noob, but I just don't explore this stuff. I'm always coding.
Right. But yeah, so in Pre-2, I learned that when you give them 10 character slots, at least one of those character slots can be min-maxed to be the most effective. And I'm not sure we discovered what was most effective during the CU since it was only like a 6-month period of time. Who knows what we'll find in like a longer version of the CU, like in duration, even if there was no changes, we might find something that's like insane. Like one thing, a lot of servers or people, I didn't see anybody pick this up on my server, but one thing that was really, really good was like flamethrowers and stopping shot, or acid launchers and concussion shot. Stopping shot being a root, and then flamethrowers and acid launchers, every single attack they did was a cone AoE. So you could literally walk up to a group with an acid launcher, hit concussion shot, and for 40 seconds you could take out like 20 people out of a fight as long as no one touched them because it broke on damage. It was insane. But no one maximized that on Loka as far as I know. And I know that there's like a video from Radiant of two people doing it. It's like one guy, he's a commando smuggler, and I think maybe combat medic, or at least some medic, and then the other guy's like a Jedi defender with MLS and healer, and they're just taking on like, I don't know, like 5 different people because they can constantly CC everybody, which was crazy. But no one ever maximized that as far as I'm concerned on a lot of servers, so I'm really interested to see what we find. I guess like meta wise and whatnot in the CU.
Yeah, sure. And I kind of like, I don't want to leave it fixed, Like I'll every couple of months or so, if one profession is not performing very well, I might give it, a 10% boost on one ability to kind of bring some life into it, so people will kind of want to, switch their builds around and play with different things. Kind of like how WoW has always been, they'll every couple patches they'll like maybe make a cooldown adjustment or a damage adjustment on something to kind of tweak builds and whatnot. I'll definitely be going through things and doing little adjustments like that.
Yeah. I know we were talking about the FRS, but are you going to keep the NGE GCW system? Are there going to be like TEFs for faction TEFs? Is there going to be a permanent overage state? Like what's going on there? What do you have planned for GCW?
Yeah, I want to look at the NGE GCW system. I don't really know like all of it. I know that you kill people, you gain rank, you go up in rank, and then you start going up in rank, and you get these ridiculous buffs. And for people who did not play the combat upgrade, SWG's combat upgrade was not the buff wars that the NGE had. It was another thing I disliked about the NGE was all the buffs. That's what made or broke combat. So with the combat upgrade, we're gonna definitely have to strip all those buffs out of that like ranking system. But then when we do that, what's really left? So I don't know what we're gonna do with that system. Honestly, I need kind of an advisor. I need somebody who did the system and like from bottom to top and says that, look, this is all the things you get, and then this is what we should do to make it fit into the CU. So I want to keep it, but I just don't know how yet.
Gotcha. That's cool.
An R2 we had ranking systems for um, your normal characters. Like R2 had Deathwatch, Black Sun, um, uh, Rebel Combatant, and something like that. And they had unique titles and skill mods so that non-Jedi characters could boost their stats to be competitive with people who were in the FRS as a Jedi side. So it wasn't like, hey, you've got this alpha class that's super alpha because they're like, rank 8 or whatever, and I'm just a regular bounty hunter. What can I do, So we kind of want to add stuff like that again. So it's probably where I'll nest it is into that PvP system instead of uh, bringing back the trees that I had in R2. They were cool, but there was a lot of like stuff behind getting those implemented, and ended up having a couple bugs with them. And the biggest thing I was attached to with those skill trees was the titles. I really liked having the titles. I'm sure we can figure something else out for the titles, though.
Yeah, titles are always cool. People love titles. They love all that cosmetic stuff. People just love it, even if they're not getting like a necessarily a like a power boost. They love showing off. Like Guild Wars 2, I think is a really good example of this because Guild Wars 2, it's like very, very easy to hit the max gear cap, and then once you do that, it's all fashion. You're just unlocking skins and nothing more. So I think that could be cool. Cave of Shurkar. I have to flag myself for this instance, right?
Yeah, it's on the frog. It's like use the frog, flag all instances, and then I think he's going to give us the
syringe,
which I thought only one of us needed, but whatever.
Where's flag for instances? I see. Okay, cool.
And anybody who's watching, yes, we know that the targeting system is still clunky. We are working on that right now. It's one of the goals for open beta is to get rid of the clunky NGE targeting system and bring back the beautiful pre-NGE targeting system.
Yeah. How many characters per account? Poltor is asking.
Oh, it's a tricky one. There's people who are going to advocate 10 because it's a free-to-play server, and there's people who are going to advocate 1 because that's how it was on live. I don't really know. I can tell you we won't exceed 5, that's for sure. But right now, we're talking about 2 plus Jedi unlock, I think. But again, this is not set in stone, so we'll kind of release the hard numbers on that later on when beta starts. I do like on Restoration 2, I had added an additional character slot as a veteran reward. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I might look into doing something like that again here, where like after your first 6 months or year, you get another slot. Because, you get one character for so long, you kind of want another one. And during live server, you could jump to another server, where here there's only Restoration. So I don't want to say like you're stuck with 2 forever, but I don't want to say you're going to start with 5. So we'll see.
Sounds like a good solution. This is one of my questions because I noticed it's just you and Jar Jar working on it. And that's a lot. It seems like a lot of workload, although you've been making a lot of fast progress, I will say. Because like half this stuff didn't work like a month ago, and now it's all like jiving together. Do you plan on adding more devs to the restoration team?
We have 2 devs who are kind of in the background that I've just got on board. They are kind of doing some light duty stuff right now as we get to know them. But as long as they like Restoration and continue to make stuff for the server, then if they want to be, more public, they'll be made a little more public. We usually run a very small team, but for this server, I would definitely like to have a couple more people to at least consult, and we're definitely going to have to grow our staff because I'm sure there'll be lots of need for CSRs.
Yeah, definitely need CSRs. Just one look at Basilisk. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Does anyone else got any more questions? I can come up with more questions, but I think I ran out of my official list. This thing is got a lot of HP.
Yeah, it does.
65k. Dang. Wow.
Just some comments. I know some people might notice the levels, and obviously in the combat upgrade, the level cap was 80. We went ahead and just left the level cap at 90, and it kind of makes it so that there's a bit more difficulty. Like a mob that's higher level than you, it'll take more damage, it'll have more stats, and those type of things. I just kind of leave that in for now. I don't really see any reason to remove it unless it becomes an issue. We'll have to wait for a beta to find out, though.
You those won't like affect damage. Level won't affect damage in PvP, will it?
It does. That's what research has told me. I don't know if, from what I understand, there's like a minor difference in damage you would output based on what level you were versus your target.
Oh,
So,
just like a minor damage difference?
yeah, it's pretty small, somewhere between like, I think 20% is the cap. If that's like, if you're 10 level different, like, so if I'm level 70 fighting a level 80, I think that would be about the max range of a difference it would allow. So if I was, I guess I said that wrong. If I was like a level 50 who wanted a PvP, I would effectively be as useful as like a level 70 weapon dependent. So if I have a decent weapon, my damage output would be slightly lower just because I'm lower level. But again, that's just some stuff that I read a long time ago. Just refreshing my memory on the combat upgrade. I won't claim that I know all of it. So if somebody can disprove the PvP level difference, it takes 2 seconds to turn it off.
Cool. Is loot revamped everywhere else besides heroics? Is Skyer's asking.
No, not really. We haven't touched loot yet. That's a big project, but we will be going over the loot tables in the next week or two because we've got to get things like slicing components dropping. We've got to get the whatchamacallit, crate tissues and those enhancements. Those all need to drop.
Yeah, it's true.
So there's a bunch of stuff that we'll have to add to the loot, but there's a lot of really cool loot in this version as it is. So
Jar Jar Binks is asking, who is the best Star Wars character and why is it Jar Jar Binks?
Well, is that a question or is that rhetorical?
I think it was rhetorical. Any plans for new professions? I know you were talking about like a vehicle maker guy.
Yeah. Definitely new professions are going to be an option. We have in Restoration 2, we had a mechanic class which crafted cybernetics and crafted vehicles. We're talking about revamping that Restoration 2 version and making it have like components that can enhance vehicles, stuff like that, adding more depth to it than what we had on R2. But I think we're going to add that mechanic profession back in. I know that using a lot of the assets that they had made in the NGE that won't be using from the initial CU, I'd like to try to make some sort of other combat profession too, but none of that's been planned. It's just like an idea I've spitballed.
Gotcha. That's cool. Let's see. We talked about GCW. Did you mention? I can't remember. Did you mention like how rank my like the so when GCW rank is in, how is that? Do you know? Do you have like a plan for how that's going to affect players?
The GCW rank, like the PvP one that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
No solid answers on how that will work, but I suspect something like the FRS. Maybe, I don't know. Can you? I think somebody had mentioned that you could get that in PVE, so we wouldn't want that. Then I don't know. Like I said, I got to go over that system. I think in a perfect world, it would be a PvP system that gave enhancements to your attack speed, damage, special attack cost, your defensive buffs or your heals. Pretty much FRS style buffs. But for players that aren't Jedi, it'd be half as effective as the Jedi one. So the Jedi retains their alpha, but non-Jedi get their competitiveness.
Right. Would you ideally want to make like high ranked like PvP players that are non Jedi competitive with Jedi, or would they be weaker?
No, they'd be competitive, but at the end of the day, we'll have the FRS at some point, and you'd have to be like on R2 that we had the Death Watch like leader box, I think it was, or something like that. You'd have to be like that box to compete with like Master Jedi. You know what I mean? Just because a Jedi Masters versus like a bounty hunter, we think Jedi should probably still be the alpha.
Yeah, that's probably true. They put a little bit more work in. They have a lot more risk.
But with the combat upgrade, you also have a skill set available to you that can tie into how good you play the class versus just that guy's got all the skill mods that make him good.
Right. I know. Also, we talked about bounty hunting. You want to tell them how bounty hunting is going to be?
It's mostly going to be like the NGE. We'll have the somebody kills you, you can place a bounty on them, which that's how we've had it on both Restoration 1 and 2. Somebody kills you, you can place a bounty on them. We don't like the just hunting Jedi. That's silly. So you can hunt anybody, and then Jedi will also generate visibility to get placed on the terminals. So for Jedi, it's both, and then for everybody else, it's just placed.
That's cool. Skyer is asking, will guilds require a guild building, like a guild hall, or will we keep the NGE version with the guild device in the datapad?
Just keep the NGE version.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good call. I think that made it so much better. I really like the NGE guild system where you can actually see like the current guild wars going on and who's won the like past 100 guild wars or whatever. I think that was really cool. It made it incentivized like non-faction PvP, and like people could beef with each other, and I think it would also be cool to have like faction unity to a certain degree, but also I totally like the idea of having guild wars go on.
Yeah, I mean, the NGE, they did almost everything right, just the combat system.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. The combat system was awful. I mean, it wasn't so bad late, but it's really just not my taste. It's just not for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's not my taste. It was fun for some people. I mean, I had fun on it too, but this is my dream come true, pretty much.
It's same here. I love SWG. Any plans on how you want to implement NGE housing, the TCG stuff?
Loot, tokens, rewards, etc. I'll go over the TCG stuff, where it can place in the game as it currently exists. For example, this is kind of borrowed, I think, but the Grievous wheel bike from Grievous, it just makes sense, So,
right.
We've had we have had like a Tuscan style boss on Restoration 2 that had the Sandcrawler house. Probably look at doing something similar to that, or maybe even putting the Sandcrawler house on like the Mos Espa Heroic. things like that.
That's good. Um, Lav Saris is asking, there's a lot of RMT, which is real money trade, on SWG servers. How will you approach that, and what can be done to minimize that avenue?
Like, you mean people selling credits to other people or us selling credits? Because we won't sell any credits. Our server is completely free to play. You know, no, nothing. Just I put this out because I want people to enjoy it. And then as far as other people trying to uh, capitalize on like an RMT, like selling Jedi or selling credits, it's a bannable offense. You know, we can't run that.
Right. I guess I guess that answers the question. I don't know if you have like some sort of if the game has like tools in place to figure out who's doing what in terms of
Yeah, we have a whole skill box at our disposal, and we have the means to add more. You know, whatever resources we need, we can add. But I think SOE was able to take care of things pretty well when they felt like it, I suppose. And we have access to all that stuff now too. So
that's good. Another question I had is hello Greedo, how are you? Question I had was will food be working? Like, will stomach and drink be working by the open beta?
yeah,
Okay.
we have food working, but the stomach isn't working right this second. But we'll have it working. It's I've got like fragments of it implemented.
Cool. Do we know if the I know pre-CU the timer to empty out was whatchamacallit? Was like 30 minutes to empty out stomach from full to empty. Do we know if that's different in the CU?
I don't think we have any data that suggests any difference, so
Sweet.
we'll run with that again.
That's good. That's good. I like that. I'm a huge fan of the food buffs. Like, I know that sounds weird, but it's just like, you know, it's just good stuff.
It was a cool system. We do need to put the UI element back in for it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could show what the UI looks like right now, actually.
The skill window, I'm sure some people are interested in seeing it. We pretty much had to recreate it.
Yeah, this is actually from scratch. I think most Jar Jar did most of this work. Am I correct?
Together, Jar Jar did the stuff you see. I did the stuff that makes it work.
Right, gotcha. So this is a team effort right here between Jar Jar and Halo. It doesn't work completely yet. It's not completely done, but it's working pretty good.
Yeah, we're satisfied with it for beta, but there's more work to be done for sure.
Yeah, people are going to ask questions like, how do I get to Bounty Hunter? And there's going to be people that have never played before. They're going to be like, I mastered Marksman. How do I get to Bounty Hunter? But you don't even need Master Marksman in the CU for Bounty Hunter.
Right. Yeah. Well, we'll still distribute the older CU profession calc as like a resource, as well as the guide that we have from Restoration 2.
Yeah. So that's good. Let's see. Anyone else got any more questions? I know there's got to be tons of questions out there. So the A script works great. He hits way harder during script. I don't know what you're talking. What is Sirach saying? Is that Center Bing?
He's saying the AI script works great.
Oh, true.
Yeah. I think because the boss is actually hitting pretty hard. Looks like we're gonna run out of mine before we beat him.
Yeah, it does kind of look like that.
I can barely damage him.
Yeah, I think we've been working on him for a minute now, and he's down 95k.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone's asking about planetary GCW events. I think that's part of the things Halo needs to research.
The planetary GCW events are currently running on our TC, like the Invasion and Bestine and whatnot. Those are working. I don't really know what you got from doing them. Those were implemented after I had quit the NGE.
Yeah. The thing that so I went on Legends, and I don't know if their invasions are like accurate to how they were in live, but I went on Legends and I played the invasions, and they they overwhelm you with NPCs to the point that it's not fun because you're running at like 7 frames a second, and I was just disgusted with it. So I would hope that they, if you do implement the invasions, you change them up to not have so many NPCs, because NPCs are, one, they're overwhelming, and two, it's a huge lag fest. Like, there's hundreds. It's like Restus every like few hours.
Yeah.
What's going on? Is he having rage in timer? What is this? Oh, it's blind. Okay, that's
blinded it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, again, it's one of the things we'll go over in the beta. Focus groups, see what's up. If they're too hard, too many mobs, blah blah blah, and get it fixed up. A lot of any adjustments usually aren't hard. The hardest part, it wasn't really hard, but the most lengthy process that we've had to deal with so far was just the data entry for converting weapons back to the proper stats. I mean, every single weapon multiple times was not a fun task.
Yeah. I know this is a personal question for me. Is the will squad leader work by beta?
Probably. I'll probably knock it out next week. It's not a huge priority, because if it doesn't come out with beta, it's about a 2-3 day thing to get it implemented, and then another 2 or 3 days to get it tested and fully working. But squad leader in itself, a lot of the code is still intact for it, and then the profession itself is mostly buffs. It's just like buff here, buff there. So I just need to plug in all the buffs, math, and it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I think might be the only challenge for it would be setting up the ability to grind it, because I don't know what's still in existence for that.
Right. Worst comes to worst, I guess you could just make it require like combat XP or something.
No, I can just write a custom function for it.
Oh, but true. Yeah. Let's see. There's a couple more questions in the quest or in these chat. Group size will be 8. Do you have any plans on expanding group size, or just keeping it as 8?
Keep it at 8.
That's cool. Someone was asking about how will bioengineering work. That will, yeah. I guess if you want to explain that one more time. I know
bioengineer will have the combat upgrades. Bioengineer stuff like stems. Bioengineers crafted stems. They crafted combat medic dot enhancers. They crafted medical things. They took that away from Doctor during the combat upgrade, if you never played, and put it in bioengineer. So we'll keep that. And then we're going to put all the crafting stuff from Beastmaster that is required, the incubator, and what else? The enzyme processing. We'll have the bioengineers craft all those. Then we'll have bioengineer do a lot of the bioengineering aspect of creature handler. And then creature handler will just do like the pet aspect, training, and blah, blah, blah. I do want to express that I will try my best to put babies from layers still in, not make it exclusively to the crafted pets. In the NGE, you had to get the pets crafted if you were going to use them. I still love the idea of going out in the world, finding a baby, and taming it. That's a weird thing to say, but,
Come here, little baby.
Yeah. But, like during pre-SU, I think you could there was like a super, super, super rare chance you could find a wild Rancor baby, right?
In pre-CU?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to put that stuff back in. I've already glanced over the code a little bit to see what still exists for the baby methods, and there's still some fragments in there, so I think I can hook it back up and get it functional again.
Right. That'd be
It
good.
added it added a bit of immersion.
Oh, I'm in combat, so I can't grab this drink. I'm gonna run over here a little bit.
I don't think you're gonna break combat.
Does it not break combat in there?
I don't know. I guess we can find out.
I know, like NGE combat was a little weird, or at least combat here's been a little strange. Unless the whole room takes damage, which is interesting. Um, will Jedi lose their sabers if they are beaten by BHs like Restoration 2?
Oh boy, that's a touchy subject for some.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a fan of that.
yeah, I loved the concept of that, but the root of what I liked was the trophy aspect. Like here's the lightsaber I killed from such and such, but it's also like a really hardcore mechanic. I think that a better solution for that would probably be making a like a decoration version of the saber of the Jedi you killed instead of taking their saber away. But we haven't really talked about details for how we're going to handle Jedi stuff. I can tell you that the hardcore stuff, as previously mentioned, probably will not be applied to the Padawan. Like a saber loot on a new Padawan is probably going to be like an overkill type situation. And more likely, we'll see like if some sort of saber looting was to be in place, it'd be like for higher ranking Jedi. But again, I'm just speculating right now. We haven't really set any of this set in stone.
Yeah. Skyer's asking, will FRS remain? If so, what's the plan to combat fight clubbing? So will it like have like the petition system, voting, all that's dueling for rank? Will it have all that stuff, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll have the voting and all that stuff. What we'll do is we'll pretty much have logs for if people are abusing the system, and we'll take action against people abusing them. But I love the whole voting and ranking, challenging, all that stuff, which is all functional. So you don't have to there's no big we got to develop the system. Nope, it's here, it's ready to go. All we got to do is turn it on.
Yeah. My only suggestion for that is have light side work the same way as dark side, where you can challenge people for rank. Just because of the fact that it's like right now on Basilisk, it's impossible to grind. Like let's say like realistically you can grind up and you can you can gain rank, right, without fight clubbing. Which I assume you'll do, right? Like if it's impossible, you'll adjust it, I'm sure. But like on Basilisk right now, people on the light side are just keeping their rank, and there's nothing they can do about it. Like there's nothing that will kick them out except inactivity or XP loss. So that's a problem for like light side FRS on SFG Emu. So that's
interesting.
Yeah, but the dark side, it's cool because not only do you not need votes, you can just kill the person above you. And I think that makes the dark side FRS better in terms of upward mobility of players. Like the idea behind that, I guess, is like the rule of two, or the idea that like the strongest rise to the top, which obviously is true in that case. But
right.
But there are people,
yeah,
and the people at the top cannot be dethroned. Like there's people trying, and they just can't be thrown away.
Figure something out. I know that we'll most likely see the Gray Jedi return. from R2. We have the means to like really implement it correctly. R2's is well implemented, but I had to mess around with a couple things to make it work. This time around, nope, we can implement it through and through, and I pretty much um, plan to. I've always liked the third faction. I think three factions make things a lot more interesting. Without too much spoiler, I hope that Jardar doesn't get mad, but I think we're gonna add a third faction in general to just kind of everybody, kind of like a neutral, not Imperial, not Rebel, just neutral. But
Would it be like
we
a
haven't.
faction people start off with, since it's like neutral? Would it be like an underworld faction, or how would that work?
No, not as you start off with. You start off with as a neutral, but then I think
Civilian.
yeah, you start off as a civilian, and then, I don't know. There's some sort of been talks about a third faction, like there will be the Gray Jedi.
Right. That's interesting. Um, will there be differences in FRS? So, for example, will dark side get more bonuses to powers, light side to enhancer, like it was in pre-CU, or will they be equalized for balance purposes?
No, it'll be unique per side. And funny you should mention that. My character is the light side Jedi Master right now, and we've been fighting this mob for 30 minutes, and I haven't lost but 2,000 force.
That's pretty. That's pretty. I like that.
So
I
we're gonna.
I actually hate the force bar. Well, I hate the force bar in pre-CU because it actually gives the Jedi more than it helps. Since regular players aren't using ham to attack anyways. So, are you going to keep the Jedi nerfs to healer that they introduced, I think, with Obi-Wan, the Trials of Obi-Wan, where healing costs mind? Or are you going to just have it strictly cost force?
No, it will keep the mine cost in there.
Okay, and I guess that'll go down with like FRS or whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's your weapons, special attack cost, and the um, ability cost. But these things are super minor, and a lot of people don't really remember this. I'm noticing that all the abilities in the game cost both action and mind. A lot of people have messaged me like, "Hey, why is this ability using mind when I'm, using like sniper shot or something?" Well, it's because that they had a very small drain on both pools. Usually, it's 1%, 2%. Some abilities go up to 4%. So, in the example of the Jedi heals, it's like 2% of your mind, and I think it's a necessary change too.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't. I think that without it, the Jedi they are reliant on their Force bar. That
Yes.
I'm looking at my Force bar. Green bar not important. Blue bar not important. I think it adds a little bit more. Um, I don't know, depth to the combat. You can't just monitor your force.
Right. I remember action always being used in the CU for Jedi, and then I remember actually dying because I had no mind
Yeah,
as
action.
a Jedi, which felt really, really, really bad.
Yeah, yeah. I know that a lot of people would run out of action more so than others because I think a lot of people had a problem getting decent special attack costs because of the pearl situation, with them not dropping decent pearls during the combat upgrade. But we have that all solved.
Right. That's one thing I'll be looking forward to is the um is the pearl situation, because I remember how bad it actually was in the combat upgrade, where you could only have like a decent saber if you had pre-CU flawless pearls. And that was a change due to pre-CU. Everything had a combat level pre-CU, but you couldn't see it. And the CU, they made it visible and then adjusted what combat levels were. So pre-CU, like you had like level 350 crates or whatever, and the combat level determined the stats on pearls and crate tissues, and also the armor segments that they drop. And then when they converted it to the CU, they didn't adjust the loot based on the combat levels. So like a level 90 crate was like a level 90 crate pre-CU, which is trash. It's like a baby crate or something. And so you would only loot like, I think the best you could loot was like quality or good or something like that. Most of them were like poor pearls or whatever, and you just had to eat not being you were just a subpar Jedi if you unlocked in the CU and didn't have pre-CU pearls.
Right. Yeah. I looked over their code and I saw, how they had it. I don't understand what was so hard about fixing it. But again, I think there's a lot of stuff they didn't want to fix for some reason. States, they didn't want to fix states.
Their initial thing for like stun or whatever was like completely eliminating action regen and stuff.
Yeah.
That some of their ideas for states were insane.
But I mean, eventually they updated their tooltips to reflect what they do on this server. Lowers your defense, lowers your accuracy. So that all I did was just make what they had listed work.
Yeah.
Another funny bug that I'm completely convinced was intentional was knockdown recovery. You cannot knock down recovery while knocked down. That was absolutely intended. And, I've almost thought maybe we should have a fail chance on that ability, but not have it so frustrating that it is presented as a bug like they did.
Oh, God. That one made so many people mad. I remember people coming up with conspiracy theories about how to make it work. Like, I remember, like, they were like, oh, if you knock me down and then root me afterwards, it will make my knockdown recovery fail. And I remember that on Loca, like people complaining about that. And then they would do it to me, and I just get back up, you're a hacker, you're making yourself auto stand. It's like, no, dude, I'm just pressing knockdown recovery. So there was actually a chance to fail knockdown recovery?
No. I'm saying I almost wonder if I should put that in because I know that they definitely coded in the cannot knock down recovery while knocked down. Like that was intentionally put in and intentionally not fixed because they wanted to increase the duration. Some people were knocked down and add that RNG element. But I don't know. I kind of like the idea of extending the knockdown on a chance through, a failed chance, but certainly not as a bug like they did. Like, that was stupid. And it was way too high.
Yeah, it was really high. I don't know about. Well, see, like the thing about knockdown recovery is I remember the way I used it in the CU was you would wait for your opponent to be low on action, and then you would knock them down, and then they couldn't use knockdown recovery until they had enough action, which was like, I don't know, something stupid, like 30% of your action bar before you could knockdown recovery. Now, a lot of people are using action regen foods and stuff, but at least you got that little bit of time where you had like, I think it was like a 20% damage boost.
Yeah, it's I'd have to look. It's like I think 20 or 25%. But yeah, I agree. You get to utilize it when you time it right, but before they get to that action, it's kind of not super useful. You knock them down, then they just hit recovery and stand right back up.
Right.
If you don't time it right, you might as well not even cycle it.
Yeah. It was pretty good. I thought it worked when it, like without the failing on a knockdown. I remember so many people were upset about that. I remember dying to it. I remember being pissed about it, yeah.
Yeah. I certainly won't replicate the bug.
Stu855 is actually asking a great question. Will the NGE collections be in Resto 3?
Yep. We have. You can actually see one of the collection pieces right over here. We've got the acid launcher that you can collect.
Let me come over and check this out. Will they have like functionality? Will they be tied to the Jedi unlock?
We can't comment, but we can do those things. But will we? Well, we're not spoiling anything about the Jedi unlock.
I got you. I don't see the Acid launcher. Oh, okay. Devastator acid launcher. I see. Can't use that in combat. Okay, so we have to kill Shirkar for another hour.
Just kill him.
Yeah. What's the command?
There we go.
Oh my god. We're legends.
Yeah. Oh yeah, server first.
Yo, we got the malevolent bowcaster and a technical readout of Old Republic two-handed lightsaber hilt.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Yeah. Oh, this rifle looks sick. The malevolent bowcaster. That looks nice. It's a carbine. Oh, perfect. I was gonna go bounty hunter carbineer, so this is perfect for me. This is actually pretty cool. I hope you keep stuff like that in there.
I got the collection. The collections are super cool. There's stuff all over the galaxy, and I definitely plan to add more collections. There's a lot of stuff we can do with them.
Yep. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick, and then you can keep talking to the chat. They'll be there. I'll be right back.
Cool. Yeah, somebody's asking, Stu855 is asking about the Restoration 2 robe collection. For people who aren't familiar, we had alternative Jedi robe colors, and they were placed in the game as like loot. You could get like a container for it, and then you'd put like the pieces together and make your robe. We'll definitely bring those back, and it'll definitely be a lot cleaner because we can use the collections from the NGE. So we'll have like the user interface element behind it, and bring all those back because we don't want to delete that.
All right, I'm back.
All right, welcome back.
Thanks, man. I don't know if you saw these questions or not.
I responded to Stu855's Jedi robe collection.
Gotcha.
Which, yes, we will bring that back.
You guys want to go do want to go kill NK Necrosis?
Necrosis is having some issues with his AI right now, so no.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. We will definitely have we're gonna have a video of when he's scaled to 8-man, because right now obviously the NPCs aren't doing enough damage. We should have been dead like forever ago. Versus Shirkar, I think. I'd like to have dedicated healers keeping your tanks up. So we're gonna have to finish tweaking.
Need
Necrosis.
Food buffs, all that stuff.
Yeah, finish tweaking Necrosis, get the food buffs in, and we'll have a group of 8 go down in there and film it.
That'll be fun. Will you have commando weapons working before open beta, and also will you have are you going to change the function of the lava cannon, or how's that going to work? Because a lot of people don't know how it worked in the CU, or at least I don't know if anyone knows how it worked in the CU because I never saw it drop. But
I don't think I'll have commando done for beta's initial release, probably a couple weeks after beta comes out. Commando will I played commando in patch 23 24 whenever they did the revamp before they had the NGE. They had a revamp for commando and squad leader, and I did commando. I didn't do squad leader. So I got a pretty good feel for how it worked. Obviously, the lava cannon, I don't know because nobody had one. I think maybe somebody had a low level one. But what I will do with the lava cannon is it's going to be like a rocket launcher. The particles and stuff. I had some for Restoration 1 and 2, like beams and whatnot. Just make it where you use this command and it shoots it, not the area ground effect stuff that the NGE had.
Right.
But yeah, just because there's going to be a lot of tweaks to the actual weapon profile, like how the client handles them. I'm not going to promise them for beta. Everybody wants to play commando, which is kind of surprising because it was never a very good profession. But I intend to make it, viable and what is this thing? Primer foot. I intend to make commando viable and get it out there in the first couple of weeks of the beta.
That'll be cool. Yeah, the reason I'm looking forward to Commando is, like I was talking about earlier, no one really maximized, I think, its potential during the CU, and again because it got revamped during Pub 24, but also the whatchamacallit, what's it called, the cone AoE on flamers and acid launchers, I think were so cool that you could CC groups of people with it. I thought it was really good. But no one used it on my server, and I saw it only in one PvP video, and I was like, this is amazing. But I didn't play Commando. I played BH and Jedi during the CU.
Like everybody.
Yeah, like everybody else, right? All the PvPers, I think they did that. It was Jedi and BH.
Well, don't forget Combat Medic, but yeah.
Yeah, it was BH Combat Medic for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Will commando weapons be able to shoot freely like they do in UNG? No. Are you planning on keeping that zombie area on death?
I don't know anything about it. I know it exists, but I've never been there, so I don't know.
Right. I guess we're gonna figure out a lot of stuff in whatchamacallit in the open beta. There will be some broken things.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the goal for beta was getting core combat, CU combat, CU professions, get those done and implemented, and get Kashyyyk, Mustafar crafting, and then the tape system. That was pretty much the goal. That's a playable game that's got your basic needs. The things it doesn't have is future content, which that's something we can work on once the core game in itself is functional.
Yeah. Will we be able to have housing on planets that normally don't allow it?
I don't think so. I don't really see any reason. We're going to add more planets, not adjust the ones that we have.
Yeah, I actually kind of agree with you there. I kind of like that there are planets you can't build on. Have there been any additional changes to the overly popular strong classes from pre-CU like CM? I seem to remember everybody going Combat Medic.
Well, there was some nerfs to those classes from SOE and Pub 24 as it stands. And we have a couple things that we've done to tweak and fine-tune the combat system. I just thought about this, and nobody's asked about Entertainer. We took the NGE's Entertainer system and merged it into the combat upgrade, and they've got little things in there like anti-dot, I think it's the effectiveness of the dot decrease. So you can kind of buff for that. The Entertainer buff is it's just one buff, so it's not overkill. Like, I got to have all these buffs, but we still want to have people, use entertainers. They weren't really used in the CU. So
yeah, I think they only gave an XP buff or something like that.
Yeah. So through various little minor adjustments like that, we're gonna have it so that combat medic isn't the end all to end all.
I think that's good because the That stuff was a little bit OP.
Yeah, I mean it's super fun. It's in a pretty good state right now on TC, except for the damn animations. It's driving me nuts that I can't figure out why the animation won't play.
The animations for what again?
The combat medic, when you
Oh,
throw the
that's
grenade,
right. Yeah, when you throw the yeah, it doesn't apply for some reason. I don't know why.
yeah. So I gotta fix that.
I guess I'm gonna warp to Mos Eisley. I want to show them the entertainer system. Work in progress, obviously, but
Yeah,
it'll be
there's some
cool.
string issues with it, but it's pretty much like 95% functional. I'm sure we'll find some tidbits to fix, yeah, through the beta.
Yeah. Guys asking kind of a repeat question that we've kind of already had. Is the NGE faction system something that will be in Resto 3, or are you going back to the older faction system? It's a little variation of what we've already been talking about.
NGE faction system.
So I guess he means like the GCW ranking up and stuff like that.
Oh, like probably talking about the Death Watch Black Sun factions that I had added. Nah, we're not going to carry those over. We'll have a better way of doing it this time.
Yeah, I think he was also asking about the NGE faction system.
Like because they had where you could faction up as like a temporarily Imperial operative, I think.
Yeah, I mean, after I think it was like rank 5 or 6 or something, it was like a PvP thing, and you couldn't. I mean, you could PvE your way up there, but it wasn't like very viable. So remember, you can only really rank up to. There was like a decay and stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't know about that. The NGE. Oh, he's asking about the NGE GCW. Yeah, we talked about that some. We'll have some of the NGE's GCW stuff implemented, but definitively how it's going to be implemented, we don't know yet. I know that I really want to get base busting back in play. Like that's a huge thing for me. I don't know why they don't do it in the NGE. You know, nobody does that.
Yeah, I think it's
So
because of the emphasis. Like they added all those like forward outposts or whatever to like the random planets or like the core planets, and then you just go flip them, and that was kind of like the base busting, I guess. But you didn't actually destroy anything.
yeah, I think that's a bit of what he's asking about too. Is they had the Talus base, and there's a base on Naboo that you would capture.
Yeah.
We'll get those working some shape or form. Oh, okay, I see. He messes me on Discord. If you were not constantly keeping up with your rank after like rank 6, it would decay. Yeah, we'll definitely have a decay system for sure.
That's good. I'm glad to hear
Yeah,
that.
I don't like anything like when it comes to progression of your character. I don't like anything or progression in PvP. I don't like anything being permanent except for like weapons or armor. But skill enhancements, if you don't continue to play, then there's no reason for you to continue to keep your position.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's do no, not KD defense. Let's do PvP damage, armor, and constitution. So this is like affecting. There's like accuracy buffs. There's a PvP damage here. I think it's like 14% or something like that. What do you have the PvP damage buff sent to on the
Oh, the one from the entertainer?
Mm-hmm.
1 second. It's 10%.
10%. Okay, that's good. That's a solid number. That's a pretty need to have number. Get rid of this elemental stuff. Get rid of elemental. Not you. Sorry, I was talking to Sirach.
Isn't it 2 points to go in to make the a damage buff for the entertainer.
I don't know.
I'm pulling it up now. Let's see here. Since you asked, you can put it in twice, and it's 5% per investment. So you can get a total of 10% damage boost. And then somebody was asking about the dot. You can get 5% dot defense.
Yeah. Poltor is asking, may or may not be allowed to answer this one, but as far as Jedi Unlock goes, can you tell us if it's a set list of requirements or if it's unique for each player?
Unique.
Unique to each player. Oof, wow, that is amazing. That's going to be crazy. Any changes planned for player base busting?
Just make it work and find some way to make it where people want to do it.
Incentivize players.
Yeah, actually, something you were talking about yesterday was having certain houses buff regions or zones stats.
Yeah.
Maybe tie base busting into that somehow. You've got the majority of the bases on this planet are with this faction. Maybe it gives like some sort of planetary wide boost. Give that faction the edge, not a whole big edge, just like something negligible and fun. And that weapon you got is cool. But yeah, I don't know. We'll figure out some way to make it so that you're gonna want bases on your side, and you're gonna want to defeat the bases.
Yeah.
I need to take a break for about 5 minutes. I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, like it was cool. Like we were discussing ideas. I actually have another question that I'm asking him because he brought that up. I was talking about, for example, there's like an NGE TCG building. There's two of them, like a Sith and Jedi meditation chamber, and I was thinking, what if these were like factioned FRS rare drops for Jedi, that like a Jedi of a certain rank could place them in a city and then either like buff the players in that city or buff the players on that planet, and then you can have only so many of them on the planet. So like let's say the buff is for every light Jedi on Naboo, for example, each one gives you each one gives you like plus 24 regen, and there's a cap of 3 if you can even get 3, right? Because it would have to be like a rare drop from something or other, or you don't want to be able to spam them. You want it to be meaningful when one gets destroyed, and you want it to be super meaningful when one gets up, and you want to incentivize players to destroy that like meditation chamber or whatever, kind of like an RTS, right? Like you build a barracks, you build upgrades and whatnot in StarCraft. I think that would be really cool to add to like SWG, where it's like a planet-wide buff and there will be vulnerable times. So like say like you place it and it's vulnerable every Wednesday at 5 p.m. or something like that, and you could destroy it. Yeah, that's what the idea I had, was that you'd be able to destroy them. Because you would have to be able to destroy them, right? Because it would be, it's something that's like so major of a buff. I mean, if there's 3 on one planet, then any Jedi of that faction gets, what's it called? Like plus 60 force regen, which would be insane. But it would be like really cool, something that goes around faction wide and like enhances just being on that faction. I think would be really cool. I'm not saying that's what he's gonna do. That was my suggestion for making like something that's like really important, really faction based. And you could do similar things with like the bases. Like there's like a medical outpost base. You place a medical outpost, maybe it ups like healing efficiency and reduces mine cost or something per base, and then you can only place like so many bases on a planet. I think 3 is like the magic number. And, that way you could have like a city, like someone who's like people who are like really into PvP. They can have like a really big PvP city, and it's just filled with structures that are buffing the whole the whole planet, and then you would have like player ranger camps where you can fly into them, and they would like let's say like you're on the northwest side of Tatooine where there's like nothing up there, and then you have like let's say you have rebels and they have got like a bunch of buff buildings, and they all go vulnerable at the same time. So you have like an Imperial Ranger go up, place a camp, last for a couple hours. Let's just say like the Ranger doesn't necessarily need to be near, and everybody can shuttle to it. That's Imperial. I think that would be really cool. And then for like a couple hours, you're sieging these buildings, or you have an attempt to destroy some of them to weaken the faction on that planet. I think that would be super awesome for like GCW. I think that would be like one of the coolest things they could add to SWG. Have to be available on the map, or players would hide them. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, for sure. And they would have to. I think they would need to have like a shared vulnerability time, and maybe not be able to be placed within a certain range from each other. You wouldn't want to have like 3 all in the same spot, because then I think it'd be too easy to defend. And then like bases themselves have turrets, but turrets aren't like the biggest problem in the CU, because the cybernetic arms, when you have the cybernetic arms, let's see, I'm going to get this buff. It's going to buff me. With the cybernetic arms, you have like, what's it called? With cybernetic arms, you have plus 10 range per arm. So if you're using a rifle that has 65-meter range, you're going to be 85 meters. And people did that in the CU. Like, for example, this is just a carbine. It's got 50 meters. If you have 2 cybernetic arms, ranged cybernetic arms, you'll be at plus 70. Are you back, Halo, or?
Yeah, I just sat down.
Okay, welcome back. Yeah, I was just talking about the ideas I was having for like the buff buildings. I was saying like maybe like I'm just talking an idea. I wasn't saying that you were going to implement it necessarily like this. My idea was just that, you know, if you have like 3 like Jedi meditation chambers on the same planet, they all go vulnerable at the same time. Maybe have like a minimum distance they can be from each other. That way you can't just have them all 3 clustered in the same spot for easy defense. And then like say like one is in like the northwest of Tatooine, and like an Imperial, like say it's Jedi meditation chamber, right? So it's Rebel, and then you have the like an Imperial Ranger come and place a camp right outside the city, so that players can fly, like Imperial players can fly to that camp, and then they can gather together and like siege for a couple hours until Vault time ends, or they blow up the Jedi meditation chamber. I think that'd be really cool. And then like if you could like stack different ones, like for example, I think there's a medical outpost in like the faction. Like say you can only have 3 medical outposts per planet, and while you're on that planet, it affects your healing efficiency and mine costs for healing. So stuff like that I think could be really cool if you wanted to implement it like that. I don't know if you would or not, but I think it would give massive incentive for going and like destroying other people's stuff, and really make base busting a huge ordeal, and also incentivize having different kinds of bases on the planet, which I think could be really, really cool.
Yeah, I agree. And just, well, I try not to cloud my mind too much with
possibilities.
Yeah, I like to. Right now, I'm staying really adamant on focusing on what we got, so that we can make sure that the beta test hits its arrival date.
Right. Let's see. Will we keep the player event chronicle stuff? It allowed for custom quests. That was a question from Skyer.
Yeah, we'll keep the chronicles.
Cool. Trying to think if there's any more questions I have. This has been going on for almost 3 hours, or no, 2 hours. It's been going on about 2 hours. It's pretty good runtime for a stream. Baron Spider wants to know, how do you get in to test this?
You can apply on our website. Restoration, I think, is in your video description, right? Restoration Gaming.
Yeah, you know what? I should have actually linked to it for the stream. I'm a little bit. That's my bad.
That's all good. But, yeah, the website, we have an application for the alpha test. I know that we're sending out just a few more of those right now. And then beta will be open. So if you don't get into the alpha test today, tomorrow, beta should be here a couple weeks from now.
Yep. I'm super excited for it. Man, I'm extremely hyped. It's going to be so much fun, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited too. And, I'm a player too. I didn't build this for anything other than me to be able to play. So
True.
I'll be in game.
Honesty, I like that. I can respect that. Oh, man.
I think for the beta, at least I can run around with my own name. Like I've played Restoration 1 and 2 under aliases, but
Elf star. What size of a server population would you consider a success? 500, 1,000, or other?
good question. 500 is a success for sure. I think anything less than 200 people and it starts to look, it's too barren. If we saw 200 to 300 people, I'd feel like I did a good job. But I would like to see 500 plus.
Yeah, I would also like to see 500 plus. I think there's a lot of people that are waiting for the CU. Like they're excited for the CU. I know there's people like me. I know there's a ton of PvPers that were on Basilisk that really like the CU. Or there's a lot of PvPers on Basilisk that would like to give the CU a chance because they see the problems with Basilisk PvP where everyone's like forced into Doctor and the meta is very boring and all this other stuff. So I think it's going to, at least for the PvP crowd, because I'm a PvPer. I don't know how PvEers feel. I imagine PvEers would like to see you because it requires more thought. More end game classes are viable. For example, I made a whole video about this, about how PvE, end game PvE and SWG pre-CU is just a solo affair, and basically you have to be like rifleman, probably swordsman for most of the end game content. And then like the people, I mean, it was ridiculous. Like you can go out and go to the crate graveyard and people are AFKing crates. Like they're AFKing them. They're AFKing the high end content. There's like no game in the world where you like AFK raid bosses. You know what I mean? What were supposed to be raid bosses, you know what I mean? Like if you could port back to like 2001 and show Raph Koster what happens to SWG in the future, it's like, this is the future of your game, and people are out there AFKing crates, not taking a single bit of decay, using like exceptional and legendary tissues for their flamers. It would be insane. People would be like, they'd be just like, what the hell? But, CU fixes that issue where every class does damage, every class is viable. I think maybe the only weaker class, the weakest class I would say in the CU is probably Fencer.
I was going to say Fencer too. It's like, poor Fencer, man. I don't know.
Yeah, they seemed pretty darn worthless, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure you can like buff them up if they need.
Yeah, I'll definitely be going over them because I loved Fencer. I don't know why they made it. I don't think they really intentionally did. I think it's just some of their debuffs maybe are too costly. Like Fencer right now has like Binding Strike and the bleeds. Binding Strike is pretty cool. What else do they have? Let me look real quick. You've got your lunge, advanced knockdown. You got your blinds, your body hit, cripple attack, which is a slow. That's right. They had a movement speed reduction, which they're the only melee class with a snare, right? Like pikeman and swordsman and TK don't have snares. So Fencer had the snare. Fencer had the binding strike, which reduced the action regen of your target, and the bleed and the postures. So it had a lot of utility, but not really any damage.
Yeah. Don't tell them about Rancor Aid.
Rancor Aid?
Yeah, Rancor Aid. Do you know about Rancor Raid?
What are you talking about?
So when they added the publish where movement speed debuffs override movement buffs, they added Rancor Aid, which made you completely immune to slows. As long as you had that drink in your system, you were good, and it lasted like I don't know 20, 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, the drink. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty. I first people were like super angry. You know, they're like, "Oh my god, my Jedi's Force Run is just totally invalid because CMs can perma slow me for like a whole minute. CM slow lasts for a minute." But then they added Rancor Aid, and Rancor Aid was like the solution to that. Like
Right.
you had to sacrifice your drink rotation for it, but you know you were immune to slows, so that was nice.
Um, Something I just thought of that we haven't talked about. People asking about like future stuff and blah blah blah. Um, we fully intend to redo Ranger and give it some stealth. Uh, Not going to say it's a spy, but similar to how spy had stealth, we intend to give Ranger the ability to stealth.
Will they have like a movement speed penalty while they're in stealth? Will they be able to walk around normally? I'm in favor of them walking around normally, but I'm just curious.
Probably have it like skill mod based,
Like
like
terrain negotiation or something?
and I think there's some stuff in Ranger, uh, like unique to Ranger skill mods, and then we'll probably, make that maybe a movement requirement. Maybe make it so that you need like a couple tapes to get 100% movement speed, something like that. Not
Yeah.
really sure. I'm spitballing right now. The only thing that is set in stone is Ranger will get the ability to stealth, and it'll get some better traps and stuff like that put into it, so that it's actually useful class because it wasn't really useful before.
That's true. Will the traps be able to use on players this time around?
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm thinking
because they have some pretty good like existing traps, right?
they were weird. I think a lot of it was like PVE specific. Uh,
Yeah, that's true.
We'll get it so that you know a spy can, or not a spy, a stealth ranger can kind of be like a spy and pop up and drop one of those like gas clouds and kind of run off, maybe something like that. Not set in stone, but that's kind of what I'm envisioning for ranger, and
May-
we'll definitely. Hmm?
Maybe give them some of the BH traps that the
Yeah.
BH and NGE BH had.
Yeah. Yep. I love some of the particles on those were real cool, big area snare, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I definitely plan to do some stuff like that with Ranger. We'll get it in, we'll get it well balanced, and it'll be fun.
Yeah. Any plans to change? So one of the things that NGE did was not NGE, the CU, is they changed a lot of class requirements. Do you plan on like making the ranger requirements a little bit easier than going Master Scout because it eats up so many skill points, or do you just plan on requiring Master Scout still?
I just looked, you're right, it does still require Master
It
Scout.
was
Talk
the
about
only hybrid profession that did not change. Yeah.
well, yeah, we'll switch that to trapping 4. I don't see any reason for that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of skill points. I was just thinking about that. You can't like get any medic. You can like Master Ranger and then like Carbineer or like a melee profession if you want, but you cannot do a whole lot there, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I'll probably put something like range support 4 and in scouts trapping as requirements. I don't know, just spitballing, but yeah, we'll fix that.
Cool, very very cool. For Jedi, are the force sensitive boxes going to be required, or are Jedi going to get like 24 extra skill points to play with, or are they going to have to train up in these force sensitive boxes?
We'll have 4 sensitive boxes.
Okay, so those would be like one skill point each.
Yeah, we've got some cool stuff in mind for that. 4 sensitive boxes. I mean, they're useful trees for not just Jedi. A
That's
lot of
true.
people would dip into them, so we'll have those in, and we'll have them as a requirement for Jedi.
Will you have them add combat levels?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
I don't think they did, anyways.
No, they didn't in CU. That's why there's like the level 71 stacker build uh, that Samurai Jack had on Loka. He had force sensitive boxes in his build. Let's see. There's some more questions here. Is there a set in stone XP rate for live yet?
Yeah, one.
Yeah, 1x. So it'll be normal for live. Will you take
I
out?
w- I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm considering like an EXP potion or something, but I don't really know that it's necessary. I'm not sure. So I kind of the only thing I really care about boosting more or less is crafting. You know, help those guys out. Everybody's ground out crafter. Uh, I don't want to just give it away, but I don't necessarily want to make you have to like bash your head against the wall grinding it again either. So I don't know. We'll figure something out. But as far as combat XP goes, we're just gonna do around 1x. And speaking of combat XP, people have done the legacy quest. You could grind that in the NGE. We have modified the system so that you can do legacy quests here in the combat upgrade. So if you're one of those guys who wants to, run through a story and progress, you complete a quest. It gives you experience based on whatever weapon type you're currently holding, plus combat experience. So it's an alternative means of grinding in this server.
Yeah. Um, there was another question. Will you take out macros out of this so people can't farm with them?
No, I think we'll do like a no macro area. We'll have macros, but we'll have like areas that you can't run macros in. Like Legends does that.
Yeah, that sounds actually like a better solution because I was talking about. Yeah. I was gonna say like I was asking for a third toolbar because will have a lot of items on my toolbar right now. I don't have any food, so that will be taking up quite a bit of my toolbar. And so I was asking for a third toolbar because in like the pre-CU servers, I have like Q, E, R, F, Z, X, C, V bound because it like you can just macro, like for example, Strafe Shot 2. I'll make a macro for Strafe Shot 2 and I'll just place it on E. And the problem with doing that on the CU server is that you cannot see the cooldown time if it's not on your bar. So that's why I was asking for like a third bar. I don't know if you can do that or not, but that would be a sick quality of life upgrade for me at least. I know I would use the crap out of that. Another question from Skyer. In an older version of Resto, force powers weren't able to be fired while moving. Is there a plan to implement that mechanic?
It was already part of the combat upgrade. You had your warm up bars and stuff. So the Resto 1 root system was just me trying to emulate the combat upgrade as long as I can, as long as I've been working on SWG, I've been implementing bits of the combat upgrade everywhere I go.
So that will not be a thing. So like Force Lightning, you'll have to stand still for it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Spin groups don't need XP buffs. Facts. Grinding template in a day is easy. Very true. Any other questions? We've covered a lot. This is gonna be a good video for anyone who wants to go over it later on.
Yeah, for sure.
We got about 24 viewers. I'm not sure if anyone's got more questions or not.
Yeah, our Discord's always open, so if anybody does have any questions, you can hop in. And I don't pay too much attention, to be honest, but usually you can ask Jar Jar, who relays stuff to me.
Yeah. Also, a lot of the testers pay attention whenever Halo speaks, so a lot of them have like memorized what he said. Unless you're
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, testers have been doing an excellent job staying on top of testing and making sure that I know that they find shit broken.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it'll be 1x Baron Spider. What
And
else?
as somebody noted to me, Quest XP is bumped a little bit. That it's not like 1x is not for like questing wouldn't make questing viable. So questing technically has like a times 5 modifier, but it's still in line so that you progress correctly. So
Skyer is asking, is there an open roadmap we can view during the beta?
is there an open roadmap? No, not right now. We might be able to make something.
That would be good. I think that helps out a lot of people.
Yeah, probably. I know that we've expanded a new community relations, which is Sirach, and I need some more. I have a couple names down for people who want to help contribute. So we're gonna start getting more positions filled, and as I get more helping hands, we can definitely set something like that up.
Yeah. Sayak is asking, and this is a good question, I think. I said, don't know if this has already been asked, but if the Beastmaster stuff from MGE is coming in this, are pets going to have similar abilities to what they have on the NGE?
Yeah, we'll run similar. I mean, I don't. I think we'll run the same abilities. They had like defensive buffs. They had brutes. Um, they had quite a few cool utilities that made it so like if I, the player, didn't have this utility, my pet can. And it kind of made for pairing builds. So we'll see something like that.
That'd actually be really sick. I look forward to that.
Yeah, I played Creature Handler in the combat upgrade, and it was so cool, but it wasn't really all that useful. It was kind of gimped over the years. Pre-CU, they had like, oh, you can have all these pets. Oh, no, you can only have like these levels. Oh, no, you can only have this one pet. So
It
we'll
was
get it good.
it was like
It was,
pre-published 7. Hold on,
yeah,
I gotta sneeze. Okay, no, I don't. Apparently, I'm not gonna sneeze. But yeah, it was like published 7. They nerfed CH by making the player versus player damage reduction not apply to pets. Before it applied to pets, so your pets had whatever they had before, and then whatever, like if they were 60% resistant to kinetic plus the 75% player damage reduction, they got rid of that, and then pets became very squishy, very easy to kill, and then and obviously that was a problem. Said Skyer is asking that this might be a crazy question. Could we possibly implement Discord or something similar into the game to replace the old voice system? I'm not sure if that would even be worth doing.
I don't know. Possible, maybe, but I don't know. If it's too much work, I don't. For minimal things, like if it's a lot of work for me to integrate it, when you can just like use the Discord overlay and run Discord in the background, it almost seems like that would be the better approach.
Yeah, that's a pretty looking saber. I'm really impressed with these sabers Jar Jar made. They're really cool looking.
Yeah, they're really cool. Just showing off the Blackwing right now. Yeah, I just pulled out the Blackwing.
Yeah. I know that one thing I think was really cool about Legends, and you could disable it if you wanted to, but then the options menu, they made it so that the game would interact with Discord. So, like, if you're in Mos Eisley in the game, it would show on your Discord status that you're playing SWG Legends, and it shows that you're in Mos Eisley if they looked at Discord, which I thought was really cool. I think that's, like, it's subtle, but I think it's like really good promotion for the game because people are in several different like Discords. Like I'm in Discords for other Star Wars stuff that isn't related to SWG. I'm in Discords for other gaming clans and stuff, and they might be seeing like, oh, what's Gospel doing? Is he what's this thing? They might ask me about it or something. I don't know if you could implement that. I don't know how much work that took them, but that stuff was pretty cool. I thought, at least.
Yeah, I that is really cool. I didn't know that they had that. I would definitely be interested in having something like that.
Yeah.
No, we will not have character respecs. Stu855 is asking. No, if you want a different profession template, drop it and grind it. That's kind of some of the fun of the CU, to me at least. Go out, join a spin group, grind up a new profession.
I actually agree. That was very fun. Um, One question was any chance on having all races available? Uh,
No.
if you mean all races by the custom races that side servers have made, private servers, no. If you mean like the vanilla races, yeah.
Yeah. As far as the custom races, we would only look at humanoids. The ones that make sense. I know some servers have put in like some silly stuff like Java
Huts, yeah.
hut, yeah, huts and stuff like that. It doesn't make any.
IG88.
Yeah, I'm all about having like Chiss. I really like Chiss myself, and it's simple. It fits with all the models that currently exist in the game. You're not gonna have any weird animation issues, yada yada. So things like Chiss, we'll probably add those at some point.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. Um, speaking of race, one of my questions was, are you going to be able to? Are you going to make any racial bonuses or racial differences between the
Yeah,
characters?
yeah.
Oh, for
I
sure.
like to race. What was that?
That's awesome because I really liked it. I wasn't sure if you're gonna go for that one. What do you have any ideas as to what would be bonusing what? Like, are they gonna have
Um,
like little bonus stats, like some melee defense? Are they gonna have like, for example, maybe Bothans because they were like in canon they're spies or whatever? Are they gonna be able to do Ranger a little bit better than other Rangers, or what's going on there? Do you think?
but we have the original combat upgrade had, the um, unique skill mods per race. So I'll just bring those back. So like I'm looking right now, your Zabrak had Deaf Dizzy, Deaf Stun, Deaf Intimidate.
All that
Um,
stuff is from pre-CU.
yeah, and it's the pre-use skill mods, but like I'll take those and do something like based around that. You know what I mean?
Right. That's cool.
So yeah, I'll use it as my working base. Like let's see, Bothans had cover and camouflage, so you kind of more stealthy, like you had mentioned, and it looks like humans had some leadership, so squad leader buffs, stuff like that. I'll go through and do some minor tweaks like that to add some individuality to each race. Nothing game breaking. I don't want you to be like, oh, I have to go this race because they have this skill mod. No, I don't want anything like that.
Right. Yeah. That would be cool. I think that's really cool. Nothing game breaking, but a little boost here and there is nice. Because like one of the things about Pre-CU is like Zabrak is known as one of the PvP races. Although I do agree that it is a PvP race, but like people think it is the PvP race, which I disagree with. I think Moncal is really good. I think Athorian's really good. I think Human's really good. But like one of the things that everyone goes to Zabrak for is for equilibrium, which what it would do is if you had like, if you got 1,000 to everything, right, and you've got like, you got like, it's math, and I can't think. Basically, it would equal out all your mind, no matter equal out your mind, your action, and your health, no matter what. If you were really low on something, it would equal it out. So it would bring down what's ever the highest and bring up what's ever low up to par with the highest, but it'd bring them both down. People normally know how it works. I just forget how it works right now. It was equilibrium. I know they had like Vitalize, I think was a small boost. Trandoshans had like regeneration, which buffed their like substats for health to regen really fast. Well, it wasn't really fast. It was actually pretty bad. It wasn't that great. It'd be cool if it was something in the CU. I know Wiki Roar was like an AoE Intimidate. That would be really cool to see if wikis could do something like that, but on a longer cooldown. Just general stuff like that I think was really cool. but you couldn't necessarily make a build around it.
Right.
Just
Yep.
mouse wheel up and down on my main bar. What is HCRS telling me? He PM'd me in Discord, and I was wondering what he was saying. Is bounty hunting going to be similar to the NGE, where you can place bounties and hunt anybody rather than just Jedi? Yes, Sayak. It is going to be the NGE bounty hunting system, as well as when there are Jedi, they will be getting visibility and they will be ending up on the terminals, regardless if someone puts them on there or not. So I think that'll be good.
The whole footage from today was the very first implementation and testing of Master Lightsaber, and that went pretty well, actually.
Yeah, Master Lightsaber was going pretty good.
I actually don't really see any issues with it, apart from the pearls are horrible that I have for testing.
The only issue I saw was the saber armor break was registering as a buff instead of a debuff. Yeah, so if you debuff me with like two things, and one of them is saber armor break, it's going to be above. You see how the saber armor break is on your bar there?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I see it. That's a good catch.
Yeah. Who are you fighting?
I have no idea.
Someone went invisible is attacking you. It's
Invisible?
Arvalon. Yeah, I think so. Let's see.
I have God mode on, so I guess that's why I can see him.
Oh, let me do this. Set God. Oh, there he is. Now I can see him.
This is an example of what we don't want to happen is all these stupid buffs.
Yeah. This is someone, he logged in and he just gave himself all the buffs in the game for the NGE stuff. A lot of this stuff will not exist on the pre-CU server.
Yeah, a lot of the testers have figured out ways to do this stuff through the admin tools.
Yeah. Yeah, only God mode could see you. That's true. Does Force Cloak work?
Not yet. It's fragmented.
Gotcha.
Some of it works, but won't. Like I have all the area checks and whatnot in place still.
Does Force Breach work? Does Force Shield work?
Jedi does not have much functionality yet. It's
Gotcha.
not been a priority. So I still gotta get a lot of Jedi stuff online.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Question I do have is, will there be, so we were talking about weapon components for like additional buffs and stuff, and you said those would be in the game from like crate tissue and stuff. Will there be additional weapon components depending on what kind of weapon you want to make? Will they be elemental types for it, or how do you plan to put it in with the weapon core system?
Yeah, we'll have so you got your range cores, your melee cores, and your heavy weapon cores. So we'll have enhancements per each weapon type, and then I'm not sure beyond that yet. That's pretty much the base I have set up. Is like you can go out, loot crate tissue, put it in a ranged weapon core, make the ranged weapon core better. And or you could get the accolade bone, put it in the melee core, make the melee weapon core better. I have the ability to get super in-depth and custom with it if I want, but I haven't really figured out what more I want to do beyond that yet.
Yeah, I have some ideas. I'm gonna shoot them to you after the stream. But yeah, that stuff I think can be a lot of fun, a lot of motivation to go PvE, give something for PvE players to do. Because, it's one thing that's really interesting about SWG is that in pre-CU, you basically required like RNG loot, which is kind of what will happen in the CU as well for a little bit to get like certain components. But also the way you made money was a little bit different because you did like, you know, all these solo groups and you just go do solo groups for money and you could solo it and it was interesting. But CU has like a heavy emphasis on grouping, which I do like, which is like part of the fun, I think. This armor is so cool. I just have to talk about it. I know it's like Restus armor or whatever, but man, it's cool armor. So I was just thinking about how, like, you know, selling weapon components is something people could do for money and, you know, instead of doing spin groups. But spin groups are cool. Do you think you're going to buff crates so that they can be, will they still be able to be soloable, or will they require a group, or are you going to make some modifications to that kind of PvE, or what's your plan?
Probably have it set up so that it's kind of like a mix. Good, skilled, equipped players can probably solo them, but typically you get a group going for your average people.
Gotcha. That's cool. And then obviously turn off macros and stuff in those areas so they can't be AFK. That'd be nice.
Right.
All right. I'm gonna give it like 5 more minutes. If no one comes up with another question, I think we'll conclude the stream.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. Also, if you're watching, you enjoyed the content, I'm going to be making more content for specifically the CU. I'm also going to talk about SWG Emu, some of the problems I'm seeing there. Not problems with developers or anything like that. I don't want to slander those guys. Those guys do a good job. But some of the problems I can see for the future of SWG Emu, and kind of like I'm going to make some more video content about SWG basically. So if you want to support the channel, there's a donation link in the description. And also if you would subscribe, that would be awesome. Subscribers really help out in algorithm and stuff like that. So, and also leaving a like on the stream would be cool. The stream I am going to leave up. I might cut it a little bit so that it's a little bit more comprehensible. Cut it up a little bit. But yeah, if anyone's got any more questions, be good. We can keep talking or we can end the stream. It's one of the two.
I'm about ready for a break.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll give it another 5 minutes if anybody has anything else, and then I'm going to take a break.
Yeah, it seems like not a whole lot of questions, but we went over a lot of stuff today, so I think it's gonna go well. I think people are going to appreciate all the information dump that we had today.
We actually did a good amount of testing too by running through that quest.
Yeah, we did. We found a little bug with the Jedi armor break. I'm sure that's fine. That'll be fixed. And then yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll be ending the stream then. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you got any questions, my bad. I put SWG Restoration. I'm going to put the SWG Restoration site in the chat again. You can access the Discord from there. Join the Discord if you want to keep track of what's going on with the development process, and you'll get notifications obviously when it's open beta. So yeah, thanks for everyone for joining in, and I will see y'all in the CU. I'll see you in Discord. See you outside of the game. Catch y'all later.